Chronic inflammation is the root cause of nearly every degenerative disease. That's diseases like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, Alzheimer's. All those kinds of conditions have the same root cause. The awesome news is that reducing or avoiding inflammation in your body is pretty simple, and once you get the hang of it, it's easy to implement in your everyday life. I got interested in chronic inflammation in the body about a year ago when I went on a hike with my husband Abraham. Now, he's always suffered from asthma and struggled with it, but about 7 years ago we thought we got it under much better control when he cut dairy out of his diet and he could breathe much easier. And he hadn't had those kind of problems, and so when we went on this hike and he couldn't get up the mountain with me, we thought we really need to figure out what's going on and do something about this. So we started doing some research, we started talking to some doctors, and we discovered that asthma is among these conditions that has a root cause of chronic inflammation in the body. So we started learning a little bit about how to control that through diet. Today he's doing so much better, and so I wanted to share some of the things that we found with you to see if it would help with your diet and with your health. So I'm going to give you a little preview now, but in future videos we'll dive even deeper into each of these 4 pillars. The 4 pillars of a low inflammation diet, ALOW, is antioxidants, low glycemic index, omega-3s, and whole foods. Again, we'll be going into each of those in future videos, so don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that little bell if you want to see more of those in the future. These 4 pillars come from Dr. Hunninghake at the Riordan Clinic, where he's a functional medicine doctor, researcher, and presenter. His speech on inflammation and asthma really helped me and my husband in our journey, so I'll put a link down below to his presentation if you guys want more of the details. Okay, let's start with the basics. What is inflammation? You might be surprised to know that inflammation in itself isn't actually a bad thing. It's part of the body's natural immune system. At its core, inflammation is removing harmful substances and beginning to heal your system. But there are 2 kinds of inflammation. There's acute inflammation and chronic inflammation. Now, acute inflammation is the good kind. It's when you have an injury, when you have tennis elbow, when you cut yourself, and this is when your body rushes to the rescue. Through the blood system, the body sends specialized cells to that area in order to prevent infection. This is what keeps you healthy. This is what helps you heal. The problem happens when the body thinks there's a persistent injury or a persistent area that needs these specialized cells to be sent to it. This is when chronic inflammation happens. You can't see chronic inflammation, you can't feel chronic inflammation, but it's kind of like a wildfire going crazy in your body. There's a few different things that can cause this. One is you have an injury or an illness that caused acute inflammation, but then it went untreated, and now you end up with chronic inflammation. Number 2, people with autoimmune disorders are susceptible to chronic inflammation. Number 3, exposure to toxic chemicals, mercury or cigarettes or other things that your body can't just naturally eliminate. And number 4, oxidative stress. And this can be caused by stress in your life, or it can also be caused by eating foods like sugar and trans fats and some other things that we're going to talk about avoiding later on in this video. So if you can't see it or feel it, how do you know if you actually have chronic inflammation? There are 2 popular tests for this, and I'm not going to remember their names, so I will read them to you. High sensitivity C-reactive protein, that's HSCRP. Serum protein electrophoresis, SPE. So you can talk to your doctor about taking either of these 2 tests, but it might still be a good idea to eat a low inflammation diet if you think that you might be at risk anyway, if you live a high stress lifestyle, if you've eaten foods that might cause chronic inflammation, if you have an autoimmune disease, or if you've been exposed to toxins that might stress your system. It's just a good idea to eat according to these principles in order to be healthy. So how do you know if you should go get tested? Well, one would be that you have one of the degenerative diseases that I listed at the beginning of this video. Alzheimer's, diabetes, cancer, asthma, those kinds of diseases. It might make sense to get tested to see if chronic inflammation is playing a role in any of those. Second, if you have any family members who have those degenerative conditions, you might want to see if you have chronic inflammation and be proactive about your eating in order to avoid it in the future. Or third, if you have any of the following symptoms, these might be a sign that you have chronic inflammation. Things like body pain, constant fatigue and insomnia, depression, anxiety, mood disorders, gastrointestinal diseases, weight gain, or frequent infections. So if you're serious about reducing or preventing chronic inflammation, I recommend watching this entire YouTube series or the entire series on the blog. Again, if you don't want to miss any of these episodes, be sure to subscribe to the channel below, hit the little bell, make sure that you get notified. And if you think that a low inflammation diet might be beneficial to you, comment down below and say, let's do this, so that we can all support each other on our journeys. Also, I'll place a link to our blog down below where you can go there for more tips and recipes, and you can sign up for our email newsletter if you would like. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.